Back in September, I found myself in the US for a handful of musical reasons. The Billboard, meetings, and a beautiful trip to Martin Guitar. But there was one New York City detour I knew I had to take. As a watch fan, it felt almost irresponsible not to visit the Diamond District. Because in my head, the Diamond District isn't really about diamonds. It's about an ecosystem. One built on trust, reputation, density, and ritual. A single loud block of Manhattan that feels like it's running a completely different operating system to the rest of the city. There's this invisible border. 1 second, you're just another pedestrian drifting through Midtown. And then, without warning, you're inside this hyper-specialised microeconomy of jewellery and watches. It's overwhelming. Compressed, alive. And what struck me immediately is that it hasn't really changed its fundamental logic in decades.
Ah! Oh my god. Oh, it fits quite nicely as well.
My first experience of the Diamond District was years earlier. I was 17. It was June, unbearably hot, and I was in New York with my family. My mother suggested we visit. Not for anything extravagant. We weren't there to buy diamonds or make some grand statement. It was about finding a small memento, something meaningful for my 18th birthday, something I might actually keep and wear every day since. I remember walking down 47th Street and feeling completely floored by the energy, the speed, the seriousness, everyone working, everyone alert. There was no theatrical luxury, no hushed tones, just people doing business with extraordinary focus. Years later, I came back and exchanged that original ring. My hands had somewhat changed. I met a man there who listened to my story, heard that I was a musician, and responded with a generosity that had nothing to do with selling me something expensive. Humble, kind, deeply human. The sort of interaction that lodges itself in your memory and refuses to leave. There was something about the people that really spoke to me, a pride in work, a sense of continuity, a quiet dignity. And this tiny stretch of street handles an enormous portion of the world's diamond trade, not because it's glamorous, but because it's efficient. Fast deals, handshakes, reputation over paperwork. From the outside, it looks chaotic. From the inside, it's incredibly ordered. This district runs less on contracts and more on memory. Who you are, what you've done before, whether people trust you. I'm sure that above street level, behind closed doors, extraordinary things happen. $1 million deals, multi-million-dollar negotiations. That's not a world I've seen. What I did see were couples choosing engagement rings, parents with their children, people buying objects that would quietly sit inside the story of their lives. From everything I've observed and from what circulates online, reputation is the real currency here. Dealers know each other. They know who's fair, who isn't, and how far a relationship extends. Many trace their roots back through the same families, the same trade routes, the same traditions. And just a few blocks away, you have the polished temples of luxury, soft lighting, champagne, carefully rehearsed narratives. The contrast couldn't be sharper.
Where are you from? Ah, estoy aprendiendo español. Oh my god, it's such a good time in there. So Rosa and Kevin, thank you very much for taking the time to say hello to me. So sweet. Oh my god, I can't stop looking. It really is absolutely wild here. Absolutely wild.
What surprised me most was just how informal everything felt. Watches worth staggering amounts of money wrapped in plastic. Transactions that felt closer to trading than theatre. Cash exchanged for steel, quietly and efficiently. There's very little romance on the surface, and somehow that makes it deeply romantic to me. The street feels alive in a way few luxury environments do. On Friday evening, it was intense, almost overwhelming, as people closed up for the weekend. On Saturday, with many shops shut, I had time to talk, to listen, to look beyond what was on display. And my curiosity wasn't about what was polished and obvious, it was about what sat just off counter. I ended up trading in a few affordable watches I simply wasn't wearing anymore. Nothing dramatic, just a reshuffle. And that led me to a watch that couldn't be further from the idea of Diamond District excess. A tool watch, understated, functional. The brand was Damasco, a German maker I'd read about but never handled in person. The model, the DK36 Black, no diamonds, no flash. The more I looked, the more it made sense. Ice-hardened stainless steel case, sapphire crystal, 100 metres of water resistance, meaning it's perfectly safe for everyday wear, rain, swimming, life. A fully in-house movement with a 42-hour power reserve, clear, legible dial, built to be used, not displayed. It felt substantial without being showy, serious without being fragile, and retail, it sits around the €2,000 mark. Second-hand, after trading in my watches, I paid well under half of that. And that, to me, is the Diamond District in miniature. Discovery, thought, negotiation, a fair exchange. This watch became my memento, not of luxury, but of learning. I love the idea of owning iconic pieces, Cartier, Audemars Piguet, but I'm also very aware of visibility, safety and context. I move through big cities, I exist online. Increasingly, I leave my wrist bare. This watch feels different, quiet, capable, almost invisible unless you're paying attention. And that feels right. The Diamond District gave me an education in a single day, not just about watches, but about how value is actually constructed, about systems that endure not because they're beautiful, but because they're useful, human, relational. So when people ask what the Diamond District is like, I never really talk about diamonds. I talk about trust, memory, density, and a German tool watch I never expected to fall for, found in the least diamond-orientated way imaginable. That's my Diamond District. Thank you so much for watching this Drive Me Wild video to the very end. If this channel has meant something to you, maybe taught you something, maybe it's keeping you company, helped you think, Patreon is where the relationship goes a little deeper. It's where the thoughts, the writing, the experiments, and the work in progress live. It's sometimes hard to explain exactly what that page means to me and what I'm offering to you. So I'm letting you step inside for a month to try it properly without committing to anything. Totally free. The link's below, and as always, I'll see you here again very, very soon.